Scientists at Northwestern University took 14 perfectly healthy people and put them on a juice diet, the kind millions of people do every year because they believe it will flush out toxins and make them healthier. After just 3 days, the researchers collected samples from their gut and their mouth and tested the bacteria. What they found was the opposite of a cleanse. In only 72 hours, the people drinking juice had a surge of bacteria linked to inflammation and a drop in the protective bacteria that keep the gut wall sealed shut. 3 days of drinking, something most people consider one of the healthiest things they could put in their body, and the gut was already heading in a dangerous direction. The lead researcher said it clearly. Most people think of juicing as a healthy cleanse, but this study offers a reality check. And juice is only one of 3 morning drinks that the latest science says is quietly wiping out the good bacteria in your gut every single day. If you stay with this video until the end, I am going to show you all 3, explain in plain language what each one is doing inside your body, and give you the exact steps that can begin fixing the damage starting tomorrow morning. This has the power to change your health forever. Before I name the 3 drinks, let me explain what is happening inside your gut so that everything else makes sense. Your intestines are home to trillions of tiny living organisms, bacteria. One of the most important jobs these bacteria do is make something called butyrate. Think of butyrate as the fuel that keeps the walls of your gut strong and sealed. It gives the cells lining your colon 70 to 80% of all the energy they need. When those cells have plenty of butyrate, they stay packed tightly together like bricks in a wall, keeping everything dangerous locked inside your intestines where it cannot hurt you. But when the bacteria that make butyrate start dying off, the wall weakens. Tiny gaps open up between the cells. And once those gaps appear, fragments of bacteria start slipping through into your bloodstream. Your immune system sees those fragments and thinks you are under attack, so it fires up inflammation, not the kind you can see, like a swollen ankle, but a quiet, invisible inflammation that runs all day and all night. That silent inflammation is what drives insulin resistance, clogs your arteries, fogs up your thinking, makes your joints ache, and makes you gain weight, no matter how hard you try. Every morning, drink that kills the bacteria making butyrate or feeds the wrong bacteria is pushing your gut closer to breaking down. And you never feel it happening. You just slowly start feeling older and more run down, and you blame it on age when the real problem was sitting in your glass the entire time. Now let me tell you about the 3 drinks. Number 1 is fruit juice. Orange juice, apple juice, cranberry juice cocktail, those green juice bottles from the store, and even the expensive fresh-pressed juices from juice bars. Most people see a glass of juice and think they are getting a serving of fruit. But what actually reaches your gut is very different from eating the whole fruit. When you eat an actual apple, you get about 4 grams of fiber along with the natural sugar. That fiber is like a meal for your good bacteria. It is what they eat to stay alive and to produce butyrate. But when you turn that apple into juice, almost all the fiber gets thrown away. A glass of apple juice has less than half a gram of fiber, nearly 8 times less than the whole fruit. So the good bacteria that need fiber get almost nothing, while the sugar pours in and feeds the harmful bacteria instead. A tall glass of orange juice has about 26 grams of sugar, which is roughly the same as a can of soda, but almost none of the fiber your gut bacteria are desperate for. And over time, this does real damage. Research tracking more than 1,800 adults found that people who regularly drank sugary beverages lost 9 specific types of beneficial gut bacteria, including the ones that make butyrate. Those bacterial changes were linked to a higher risk of developing diabetes down the road. Other research found that too much fructose, which is the main sugar in fruit juice, actually breaks apart the tiny protein locks that hold your gut wall together. Once those locks break, your gut becomes leaky. Toxins from bacteria escape into your blood, travel to your liver, and trigger inflammation and fat buildup. All from a drink that most families pour every morning, thinking it is one of the healthiest things in the refrigerator. Number 2 is anything sweetened with artificial sweeteners. That includes diet sodas, zero sugar iced teas, sugar-free flavored waters, and those little packets of sweetener people stir into their morning coffee or tea. Over 140 million Americans use these sweeteners every day. Most of them believe they are making a smart, healthy decision by skipping sugar. But here's what actually happens inside the gut. Researchers took 120 healthy adults who had never consumed artificial sweeteners and gave them small amounts, less than the daily limit the government says is safe, for just 2 weeks. Every single sweetener they tested changed the bacteria in the gut, but 2 of them, saccharin and sucralose, went further. They actually made it harder for these perfectly healthy people to control their blood sugar. Their bodies started handling sugar worse than before, even though the sweeteners themselves contain no sugar or calories at all. And here's the part that sealed it. The researchers took gut bacteria from the people who were most affected, put those bacteria into mice that had been raised with completely germ-free digestive systems, and those mice developed the same blood sugar problems without ever tasting a drop of sweetener. The bacteria alone caused the damage. The sweetener changed the gut bacteria, and the changed gut bacteria caused the disease. Other research found that just 10 weeks of sucralose, about 2 packets a day, was enough to disrupt gut bacteria and change insulin levels in healthy young adults. And when doctors looked directly inside the small intestine of people who used artificial sweeteners, they found fewer types of bacteria compared to people who avoided sweeteners entirely. One of the doctors leading that research said it plainly: artificial sweeteners are not harmless for the bacteria in your gut. So think about what is really happening. Someone reaches for a diet soda or stirs a sweetener packet into their morning drink because they found it fun to avoid sugar and protect themselves from diabetes. But inside their gut, the sweetener is killing off helpful bacteria, feeding harmful ones, and making their blood sugar control worse. The tool they picked to prevent the problem is quietly making it happen. Number 3 is not a separate drink. It is what most people turn their morning coffee into. And this matters because black coffee by itself is actually one of the best things you can drink for your gut. Research on thousands of people has found that regular coffee drinkers have higher levels of a helpful bacterium that produces butyrate. A separate analysis of more than 22,000 people found that scientists could identify coffee drinkers just by looking at their gut bacteria, because coffee drinkers consistently had healthier and more diverse bacterial communities. Coffee contains natural plant compounds called polyphenols that act like food for your good bacteria. Black coffee is genuinely beneficial for your gut. But most people do not drink black coffee. They pour in flavored creamers, and those flavored creamers contain a combination of ingredients that is quietly undoing every benefit the coffee was trying to give you. Most commercial flavored creamers pack 3 categories of harmful ingredients into a single bottle. First, they contain added sugar or high fructose corn syrup, the same type of sugar that research shows breaks apart your gut wall seals. Second, many contain artificial sweeteners like sucralose, the same compound that has been shown to disrupt gut bacteria and worsen blood sugar control. Third, they contain chemicals called emulsifiers, and this is the ingredient almost nobody knows about. Emulsifiers are added to give creamers that smooth, silky texture and to keep the ingredients from separating in the bottle. The most common ones are called polysorbate 80 and carboxymethylcellulose. Research has shown that both of these chemicals directly change the bacteria in the human gut, make those bacteria more inflammatory, and eat away at the protective mucus layer that coats the inside of your intestines. That mucus layer is like a shield between your bacteria and the wall of your gut. It keeps them at a safe distance. When emulsifiers thin out that shield, bacteria can touch the gut wall directly, and that triggers your immune system to launch an inflammatory response that can become chronic over time. Here is why this matters so much in everyday life. A single tablespoon of flavored creamer typically delivers sugar, artificial sweeteners, and emulsifiers all at the same time. Most people pour 2 to 4 tablespoons into each cup. Many people drink 2 or 3 cups a day. That means every single morning, they are hitting their gut bacteria with a triple dose of damaging ingredients and then repeating it for years. The coffee was trying to help. The creamer erased the benefit and replaced it with harm. So those are your 3 morning drinks. Fruit juice that floods your gut with sugar while giving your good bacteria almost no fiber to eat, with visible damage starting in as little as 3 days. Artificially sweetened drinks that alter your gut bacteria and make blood sugar control worse within 2 weeks, even at doses considered safe. And coffee loaded with flavored creamers that deliver sugar, sweeteners, and emulsifiers all at once, dissolving the mucus shield. Your gut depends on while canceling out everything the coffee was doing for you. Now here's what to do instead. If you drink juice in the morning, eat the whole fruit. Eat the actual orange instead of squeezing it. Eat the apple with the skin on instead of pouring apple juice. You get the same vitamins, the same antioxidants, but with 4 to 8 times more fiber. That fiber is what feeds the bacteria that make butyrate and keep your gut wall strong. If you love smoothies, blend the whole fruit rather than juicing it. Blending keeps all the fiber inside the drink. Juicing throws the fiber away. That one change is the difference between helping your gut and hurting it. If you drink diet soda or zero sugar drinks in the morning, switch to green tea. Green tea is full of natural plant compounds that research shows feed 2 of the most important beneficial bacteria in the human gut: Bifidobacterium and Akkermansia. You are trading a drink that damages your bacteria for one that strengthens them. If you drink coffee, keep drinking it. The research says it is actively good for your gut, but stop using flavored creamers. Use a small splash of plain whole milk or real cream. Nothing flavored. Nothing with a long list of ingredients. If you need a little sweetness while your taste buds adjust, stir in a small spoonful of raw honey. Unlike artificial sweeteners, raw honey contains natural compounds that actually feed good bacteria instead of killing them. And most people find something surprising happens within 2 to 3 weeks of cutting out sweeteners entirely. Coffee starts tasting richer and better on its own because your taste buds are no longer drowned out by fake sweetness. And if you want the single most powerful morning drink for your gut, pour yourself a cup of plain kefir. Kefir is a fermented milk drink that is full of live beneficial bacteria. Research from Stanford showed that people who ate fermented foods every day increased the variety of bacteria in their gut and lowered 19 different markers of inflammation, including one that is directly connected to heart disease, diabetes, and faster aging. 1 cup of plain kefir every morning does more for your gut than a cabinet full of expensive supplements. Your morning routine is the very first thing your gut bacteria experience each day. It sets the direction for everything that follows: your energy, your blood sugar, your inflammation, and how clearly your brain works. For years, maybe decades, you may have started every single day with a glass of juice, a diet drink, or a cup of coffee. Turned harmful by what you poured into it. Not because you were careless, but because nobody explained what these drinks actually do once they reach your intestines. Now you know. Black coffee feeds your good bacteria. Artificial sweeteners destroy them. Juice starves them in 72 hours. And the emulsifiers in your creamer dissolve the barrier your gut depends on. Tomorrow morning, give your gut something it can actually use. Your bacteria have been waiting long enough.